Daytime with Aston Avery. Stephen Smith joins me, my regular contributor. And Stephen, we're now going to be discussing about your two books that you've got. So you've not got one, but you've got two novels that are going to be on the Kindle and ebooks. So would you like to explain our listeners about this?
Yeah, so for the first time, my books are available on Kindle and ebook. There is one called It Should Happen to a Hairdresser, which is my autobiography. I did so many years ago, but I've updated it a little bit. We've got a new cover on it. It's also still available on paperback, of course, $9.99 and $2.99 on ebooks. And it means you can read it on your Kindle it's a great read. And it's not just about hairdressing, Aston. I think you know that, don't you? And then my other book, which has got a brand new cover. This isn't it, sadly, the new cover, but David Howe has created a new cover for me, is Powder Boy, which is a story of reality TV and a few bits and pieces. It's quite a good read. It's a bit racy, Aston, though, so don't let mum read it.
I'll probably have to keep her away from it. And with that being said here, Stephen, there are obviously highlights of your hairdressing days. So what have been your highlights of your hairdressing days?
Sitting down in the end. No, for a fantastic career in hairdressing. I really enjoyed it. I started off in a little shop in Brighton called Harley's in Lanes, and I got kind of popular there. And then I ended up going over to the United States and working in Los Angeles and in Laguna Beach and San Diego, traveling with it. It was incredible. I mean, I flew to New York to do hair on a private jet. I flew to Dallas to do hair on a private jet as well. It was all very exciting. And of course, then coming back to London and working in the studios, doing the Baywatch team, doing a host of stars. It was great fun. I really enjoyed it. It's really hard work. Anyone that says that hairdressing's light and fluffy should try it. Some days you're working from, or some days I started at 4 a.m. to do people to get ready for a show. And then, of course, it's a busy day. A short 5-minute break and then back on again, and I could work easily until 9 p.m. If you're a busy, successful hairdresser. I had to learn the one thing I regret doing is not disciplining myself to do less. It became almost like an addiction to work hard. I had a great career doing hair, and so there's so many moments that I really enjoyed, Aston. But I would say to people going into it, it's a really hard job. It's mentally straining, and you've got to be prepared to please people and to remember that you're not the star. It's the people you're looking after.
Oh, without question. And Stephen, obviously transgressing from one career to another, so it can be difficult for people here. So how did you go from hairdressing to becoming a writer here?
Well, I was really funny. I was working partly at the Sun newspaper doing the hair for the celebrities when they arrived. And Jane Moore, who's on Loose Women, she's an incredible lady, and she was the editor of Sun Woman. And she rang me up one day and said to me, you're always so witty and funny. Write a column for me on hair and beauty. And I went, oh, I'm dyslexic. She went, and? She said, half the people can't spell on Fleet Street. Get me the column right away, or you're not working here. I went, oh, okay. And I did it. Oh, it's great. It's really good. And I realized I had an ability to talk to people and get it down on paper. So I eventually ended up interviewing celebrities for the Sun newspaper as a sort of journalist. So I retrained as a journalist and went to work for Amanda Cable at the People magazine. And it blew up from there. And I realized I actually had a talent I would have probably not known about if someone hadn't pushed me to write. I'm still not brilliant at spelling. I want to tell you, it doesn't really matter in this day and age. Well, it does matter, but it doesn't really matter because you have spell check and you have everything. So, but that time I worked so hard at hair. I think I had burnout, Aston, which is something people don't really talk about as a mental health issue. If you work too hard at something, you can end up, especially in the arts, being burnt out. And I think I got to the stage where I needed a new challenge. So I ended up becoming a journalist. I said I did the training as well, though. I mean, it wasn't just like that. And then I started writing books. And now I have a column in Out News Global, Tales of a Single Man. and I have my own podcast show, which is called A Cup of Tea with Stephen, where I interview celebrities. And again, it's something I think because I worked with the stars, I knew what with that craft. I come from I was an actor when I was a child with the National Youth Theatre, so I knew about actors. So I kind of found something new to move into. It's much easier in America to move to a new career, Aston. People are more accepting of it. Over here, there's still that kind of, you leave school at 18, you either go to university, then you become whatever, and you stick to it. When people start changing careers, people go, over here. But I think people are getting a little bit better. But, I would get bored doing the same thing all my life. So I'm glad I moved into writing.
But then one thing is, you have a new book ready. So can you explain to our listeners about that?
Well, I've got a brand new book coming out next year called The Hacking. It's all about a group of friends, and one of them is hacked by a newspaper, and stories get leaked about the friends and the effect it has on them all. And also the background of the people hacking. And it's it's funny, it's moving, it's also very upsetting because it's true, a group of friends can get together, one of them's hacked, especially in the celebrity world. It's all about trust. And things get leaked and they wonder where it's coming from. And it's not necessarily that person's fault that someone's listening into it. It's something that people haven't really talked about enough, how the hacking has affected people in the industry. People fell out over it because they thought people were talking about them or selling stories on them. And it caused a lot more issues than people actually know. And I think in a few years to come, people will start talking about it more. But it was a dreadful thing to happen, a hacking of celebrities. So this book is all about it and the effect it has on them.
So for our listeners here, Stephen, who want to get into writing, how long does it take to write a book here?
It's a big discipline. Once you get started, I think, and you get hooked on it, it's easier. But just sit down and no matter what, write a paragraph a night to begin with. If it's just that, great. Get a synopsis of what you want to write about. Say, like your mum wrote about you. Write what you're going to write about. Try and get the first 3 chapters done. And then, even that you're ready to go, basically, when you've got that, you can send that off to agents. It's best to have an agent if you're going to get your book published. Send the first 3 chapters off. If they like it, they'll red light it and say, go ahead and write the rest. Then you have to discipline yourself to give you X amount of hours each day to do it. But it's all about the discipline. Someone once said to me that 9% of the world say they're going to write a book. Only 1% actually sit down and do it because it is a discipline. But as I say, if you just sit down, so much easier these days. You don't have to do it on an old typewriter. Sit in front of your cup, write the synopsis, get started. You'll be amazed.
And obviously, as well, Stephen, Autism's Got Talent took place last month there. So it's interesting to see what performers got back on stage and how they did well on stage after a year away.
That one I was really amazed at, Aston, was that one that did I Am What I Am.
Dear.
It was just amazing. The dancing was incredible. Fred Astaire, move over. How did you enjoy it?
Well, I was only given 5 days notice to actually do it because someone sadly had pulled out due to medical grounds, which is sad to hear anyway. And I had to step in 5 days short notice. So at the end of the day, if anything like that comes about, be professional about it. Go and do it and enjoy it.
Well, you are a pro. You're really good at what you do. And did you not? I'm going to ask you this because you could sing "I Am What I Am" because I know you have a great. Have you thought of singing it and dancing? Because I think you should do that next time.
Okay, that's a challenge I have to accept.
You have a brilliant singing voice. So I don't understand why you're not singing "I Am What I Am" as you're dancing because your voice is as good as the one that you use. So I'd like to see you do that next. I think it'd be really good. What were the highlights for you of the show?
The highlights for me personally was I'd say all the acts really were really, really good, and that you can't really fault any of them really on the day because they were absolutely brilliant, especially in the tech run. And if you single anyone out, it's not fair. At the end of the day, they were all brilliant.
No, I wasn't suggesting which you got. When I said there were just so many highlights of the whole. I think it was so moving because it was the 10th anniversary as the starters. So for me, that Anna getting on stage and getting the flowers and everyone. I mean, it was just, we haven't been together in a long time. That was kind of what for me was the highlight. Was us all being together as one big family. Because I don't think people realise when you get involved with a charity, Aston, what it actually does for you. People say, "Oh gosh, here I am doing charity work," and I go, "Good for you," and which it is. But it gives so much back to anyone that gets involved with the charity, like it does for me. I think people realise that I'm lucky with Anna and all of you. I've met all of you incredible people, and they're like family to me now. So it's like when I see you, Don, your mom, your dad, and everyone, it's like one big happy family. And to be involved with that, you can pay a price for it. So as I say, to getting involved with the charity is not necessarily about you doing something. Sometimes you get a lot back that you won't realize about.
One thing I woke up to is it the morning after someone said, "Oh, Robin Winters mentioned me on social media." I'm like, yes. Really?
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Oh, he's a great part of the family. Do you know what's lovely about people? They always think celebrities turn up and they're all kind of, and some are. But people like Robin and the people that have been with us for years are just such pros and such nice people and lend their time to us. I mean, when Robin left watching Strictly to come and do the show that night, and Danielle Mason came along, and I mean a lot of people turned up to lend the support that night. And it's a difficult time because people are still frightened to go into the theatre because of COVID. So it was great that everyone turned up for it.
Now, Stephen, very shortly, we're going to be chatting to podcaster and artist David Hodge, who's known as Dusty O, who's got a new art gallery that's going to be coming.
Have you got a Boy George record for him, I hope?
Somewhere down the line. We'll chat to David shortly, Stephen, if that's okay.
Well, thank you.